There are certain collections and certain items that we just can't seem to let go. And over the course of the last year and a half, we've seen re-releases of quite a few of them. Just last year, I was making a list about some of the most special and unique Chanel handbags that have been ever made. And on that list was the black and white graffiti flap bag from the Spring-Summer 2015 collection. And that bag made me think about the Galliano era at Dior, and of course about the iconic newspaper print saddlebag. And now here I am, a year later, holding a re-edition of that same bag. And that hasn't been the only case, because another bag that I had dreamed about having was the Chanel Kelly bag, which was re-released as well under a new name, Chanel Nano, for the Fall-Winter 2024 collection, if I'm not mistaken. And these are just two examples. I just saw that Jessie did a video about denim bags, and it used to be that we would beg for just one luxury designer denim bag, and suddenly we have dozens and dozens of denim bags being released. And the question is, why now? There are many reasons for brands to do this, but I think that the most obvious one is cost-effective marketing for their new collections. And now let me give you an example. Let's say you're going home from work and you pass by the local fruit and veggie store and you see that they are selling €1 per kilo or $1 per pound, depending on where you live, bananas. And in this economy, that's a great price for bananas. So you go inside, you get your bananas, and then you notice some really good looking strawberries, so you get those as well. And then you realize that you also needed some tomatoes for your dinner, and you end up basically spending $20-30 at that store. The thing is though that the prices of the strawberries, the tomatoes, and everything else that you bought, they are exactly the same as everywhere else. You only got a deal on those bananas. In fact, it's also very likely that the prices of everything else were actually more expensive than they are at the supermarket. So it's very likely that in the end, you actually paid more. But the store, they tricked you into thinking that you're going to save money. And all of this because of the $1 bananas. And this is a very common marketing method. Most, if not all, companies practice this marketing method because it's so simple yet effective. The thing with luxury brands though is that they can't have something that extremely cheap because they are perceived to be luxury businesses. And cheap and luxury, it doesn't go together. And the same goes for attention-grabbing deals. For example, you can't have a bag and shoes combo for $2,000 like it's a McDonald's Happy Meal. Like, again, the company will no longer be considered as a luxury business. So instead, the easiest way to create buzz around their new collections is to have one viral item. The creative directors, they know exactly which collections and which items have had the most hype around them. And in fact, since I mentioned the Chanel Spring-Summer 2015 collection, my essay once told me that he still has people asking about the graffiti backpack. It's been literally 9 years and people are still hoping to find that backpack. So now let's say they decide to re-release the graffiti backpack for their next collection. Can you imagine all the free marketing that they would get? Like, all the social media would be talking about it, all the big magazines would be talking about it, and then they would give one to Margot Robbie and, well, basically break the internet. And well, yes, the backpack, she would be the main star of the show, but she would also draw people to their boutiques. And then we would have a banana situation, because once you're at Chanel, you may as well get a matching pair of shoes to the graffiti backpack, and then maybe you're gonna notice a cute little jacket, and in the end you're gonna end up spending 3 times the price of the backpack. Who knows if you would have even gone to the boutique if it wasn't for that backpack. It's very likely that you wouldn't have, but that one bag just changed absolutely everything. And guess what? It's not over yet, because once the bag is released, they are going to get a second wave of free marketing, because there's going to be people doing unboxings, styling the bag on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube. and that's going to drive even more people to their boutiques. And of course, it's going to be extremely limited edition and impossible to get, but that doesn't mean that people are going to leave the boutique empty-handed, because once you're at the candy shop, you see all the colors, you see all the flavors, and you get all excited, and maybe you're going to see a cute little flap bag on the shelf, you know? So they are going to win anyway. It's not always that someone's going to buy something, but it is a possibility. So it's quite literally a no-lose scenario for the brand. Moving on to reason number 2, which is the safety of sales. When brands release a brand new bag, there's no way of telling how successful it would be. However, with a re-release, they basically have guaranteed sales. For example, I remember when Dior released the whole Vibe line with the bowling bags, and I remember it very vividly because my feed was covered in those bags. I think that every single influencer got one of those bags. I don't know if they were gifted for forever, because I don't think I ever saw any of them wear it again, but there were a few days when every single one of them posted a picture or a video with that bag. And then quite literally, just 6 months later, I saw all of those bags being sold at the Bicester Village vlogs. And Bicester Village is like an outlet village, and Dior has an outlet at Bicester Village. And I saw so many videos which had those bags at the Dior outlet. And it is now, it's been what, maybe 2 years since those bags were released. And even just recently, I saw another Bicester Village vlog, and they still have those bags, and people don't want to buy them even for outlet prices. So after all of that marketing and all of the logistics of safely moving those bags around, it is quite certainly a definite loss for the company. Another example that I would like to use is the Chanel 22 bag. And now, before you say anything, I know that I am probably in the minority, but purely visually speaking, I do like the bag. And if someone from Chanel sent it to me, I would wear it with pride. My issue with that bag is the price. I think that it should cost at least 2 times less, because it is literally a fancy dust bag with the Chanel logo on it. It's too simple to cost as much as it does. And while Chanel doesn't have any outlets and their bags never go on sale, the one thing that they do love to do is, you guessed it, increase prices. And here's the interesting part, because if you saw my TikTok about the price increases, or you just checked the prices of all bags after the price increases happened, you may already know that the Chanel 22 bag is the only classic bag that didn't increase in price. And by classic, of course, I mean the bags that are released every single season in different variations. So we have the classic flap, the boy bag, the 255, the Chanel 19, and now the Chanel 22. And now let me be very clear by saying that this is just my assumption, but would they leave out one of their classic bags from the price increases if it was selling like hotcakes? Because I don't think so. I mean, I'm not saying that they're not selling at all, because I have seen quite a few unboxings. I have seen some people wearing them, and I think that especially the minis, I think that they do very well, but it's just a little suspicious, don't you think? Leading me to reason number 3, which is weak sales. Now, unfortunately, not all the companies are public companies, so unfortunately, I'm not able to give you accurate data on every single one of them, but we can take Kering as an example, the owner company of Bottega Veneta, Saint Laurent, Gucci. They experienced an 11% drop in sales for the first quarter of 2024. And it may not sound like a very big number, but their sales are in billions, So 11%, when there's billions involved, is actually quite a significant loss. In fact, Saint Laurent has just decreased. Yes, you heard that right. And yes, I said it right. Decreased the prices of some of their classic bags, including the classic Lulu style. And I, for one, am not surprised whatsoever, because I think I've said this before, but I'll say it again. These luxury brands, they have seriously underestimated the power of aspirational shoppers. And then, of course, we have to take into account the latest trends, from which one of them was quiet luxury, and it's still kind of going on. And then we have the trend of buying items that are not authentic, and I think that this one kind of became more popular because of TikTok. I may be mistaken, but some of these websites really exploded. And then of course it's no longer 2020, so once again we are able to spend our money on experiences, we're able to travel again, and then on top of that we also have to take into account the current economy, which is frankly in the toilet, and also the horrible job market. And that's just a few of the things affecting us right now, and that's excluding the extremely sensitive political situation that we're in. So luxury shopping has become a low priority for a lot of us. And so, of course, the brands, they want us to come back. They still want us to spend our money with them, and they have to lure us somehow. And in this case, they are counting on nostalgia. For example, you weren't able to afford it 25 years ago, or it got sold out and you weren't able to get your hands on it, or it reminds you of a special time in your life, or you're a collector and you really like these very rare, special, limited edition pieces. So they release it again, and now you have a reason to shop again. Of course, at the end of the day, it's always up to you if you choose to buy them or not. I'm weak. I knew exactly what they were doing and I chose to buy them anyway. And I'm not gonna lie to you guys, I do really love them and I have been enjoying using them, so I can't really say something bad about them. But the only thing that I would recommend is not to buy them purely because of the hype. Buy them only if you really love them. And what I always try to do is to kind of hypothetically remove the hype from the bag and just think of it in a way where I would be able to go into a store and immediately buy it. Would I still love it? So ask yourself that question before buying any of the hype bags. And I think it's really helpful because it really makes you realize if you're buying it only because of the hype or because you would actually love using that bag. So I think that's it from me today. Now I'm curious to hear your thoughts about this whole topic, so feel free to express yourselves in the comment section below. My name is Laine. I love to talk about luxury designer fashion, so don't forget to subscribe to my channel, and I hope I'll see you again soon. Stay safe, everyone.